I'm Paula, and this is Rebecca, and you're watching a video lecture on formal writing.
Writing formal can be very difficult. As you learn how to speak in English, you hear words and phrases in conversations and assume that it will be the same in writing. But it is not the same. Writing in a formal and professional way is to be neat and clear. Each topic needs to be introduced properly, elaborated, and concluded. Here are some of the most important basic rules of writing. 1. It has to be a structured manner. You have to be clear and explicit, and make sure the reader understands. 2. Avoid personal pronouns, not including you in the text. A formal text is often written in a third-person perspective, and it has to be performed neutral. No personal opinions or interests brought up in the text. 3. Use transitions, such as furthermore, consequently, additionally, etc. Using transition words makes it easier for the reader to follow your point and ideas in the text. It helps making the paragraphs stick together in a coherent and structured way. 4. No colloquial languages. Make sure you do not write as you speak. You cannot write like you would write to a close friend or family member. Avoid abbreviated words such as don't, doesn't, it's, etc. And 5. Stay on topic. Do not wander off. You need to know what you're presenting, and you need to do it good. 6. And clearly, no homonyms or spelling errors. Evidently, once you've mastered all of these ground rules, you will surely be a professional formal writer.
An essay. When writing an essay, it is important to use a formal language. Essays are often written in an independent manner, meaning that the text is not written of or to one specific person. It is common not to use any personal pronouns in an essay. This makes the text look more formal and structured. An essay always begins with an introduction where the topic or thesis of the essay is presented. After the introduction comes the body. In this part, one should present the arguments of the opinions eliminated in the essay. Not to forget that each argument should be supported by ideas or examples. The last part of an essay is the conclusion. The conclusion summarizes the given information and arguments in the text and reproduces the taken conclusions. The most common way to write an essay is to start with the body, then writing the conclusion, and after that the introduction, and lastly writing the headline. Lastly, look through the text and look for grammatically incorrect sentences and informal expressions. Eliminate personal pronouns and make sure you have written citation marks for any references.
A formal review. A review is a short summary, description, or evaluation about something. It can be about books, movies, places, parties, and etc. In a formal review, the basic formal rules apply. You still have to be neat and clear. Avoid personal pronouns and use transitions. Though you have to be subjective, you can no longer be neutral in a review, since it is your critical opinion about this subject. To be able to write the review, you have to be well informed about the subject, and you must be clear about it, so your criticism will be justified. You need to write the review in a specific structure as well. These are the qualities a formal review should contain. An introduction, where you introduce the story about what you're planning to review. Present a short background about it. The main body is where you write analyses, evaluations, and comments about the thing you are reviewing. You must explain your opinions and back them up with evidence, as it is a formal review. So you cannot only write what you think about the piece. In the conclusion, you then write a summary of your evaluations, explain specific reasons for why those are your opinions, and add specific recommendations. If you follow these instructions using the basic formal writing rules, you then have a professional formal review.
An article. The standard format when writing an article is the same as when writing an essay. A coherent thesis has to be presented in the introduction. In the body, make the reader convinced of the thesis and present argument to strengthen it. In the conclusion, repeat the thesis and conclude the text. The third thing when writing an article is to choose the subject. When that is done and the information is gathered, it is important to think of the audience. To whom are you writing the article? The most effective way is to start with the body, after that writing the conclusion, and lastly the introduction. In the first paragraph of an article, most often is written in extra bold style. The writer should answer following questions: who, what, when, where, and why. The first to notice when reading an article is the headline. Make this as strong and catchy as possible to catch the reader's interest. A headline should be about 5 words.
Hope you'll find these instructions very useful.
And don't forget that formal writing does not have to be boring. Bye.